Let's fight. Let's fight, folks. Could you imagine living in a country where there's blackout all day long? Good to have each and every one of you on the live tonight. Grateful to have electricity. Grateful to have power, folks. Two power ships. You got GPL, you got Wärtsilä. Are we better off for it? Are we better off for it? Whole day. Blackout. What them ships powering? Freedom House? State House? What's being powering? Folks, we're happy to have each and every one of you on the live tonight. We're going to ring the bell one time for all you great folks who are joining us. Share the live as we come on, folks, and smash that emoji button as well. We want as many folks to get the valid and credible information. Great to have each and every one of you here. Without you all folks, we ain't doing nothing. Without you wonderful folks, and we're happy to have all of you here with us. From wherever you're joining us from, the many places you're joining us from, share the live again, folks, and smash that emoji button. It's a privilege to have each and every one of you with us. And I think we're now getting through to Facebook. It's a whole host of things happening. Now we're going through the Facebook. Great to have all of you here with us, folks. Welcome in the ring. We've been live about 2 minutes now. If you're now joining in from Facebook, we have been on for a couple of minutes now, and it's all manner of things happening. Blackout today. We're now getting through to Facebook. Great to have all. You missed nothing if you're now joining us. You haven't missed anything, folks. You haven't missed anything yet. But good to have you here with us. Clyde and Tina, Mahindra, Gloria, Sudhari, Marcus, differentiating all of them. Good to have you wonderful folks with us. Another evening, folks. It's Thursday, the 19th of December, believe it or not. Pretty Militia, we see you there, and Jamal Aziz, we see you as well. And all you wonderful, beautiful folks joining us. Good to have you. Is Angela joining us tonight? Angela, how you doing? The shirt take your boy real nice. How you doing, Angela? Good to have all of you on the live tonight. Mike, good to see you there. Cheryl, Lennox, Avril, good to have you. Abida, Janet, Boomy, Derica, good to have each and every one of you folks on the live tonight. On the live. Let's share a couple of things with you folks as we head into it. How are you folks doing? How was the day, my Lord? So you must be scrubbing all day. Scrubbing walls, scrubbing pot, scrubbing floor. We can't done work, you know. This thing has been here. Christmas time is cleaning time. Cleaning time is not a nice time for everybody. Christmas time is cleaning time. It's not everybody like it, folks. Not everybody like it. But we're happy that you folks are here with us. We got a couple of things to share with you guys. Yep. Clifton Hickens. Pim. 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 But it's been this one, Calvin Brutus, the head in today. Is it Calvin going? You know? I ain't know neither. We're going to find out together tonight. Is it Calvin going? You realize soon Brutus getting swearing, Calvin making say, Like Calvin, no, Brutus was on his P's and Q's all the time, forget to walk. You know, they say, one of the Greek playwrights, power newly won is always harsh. We're going to find out. Big head on the card tonight, too. Y'all boy, big head. Anybody who had more big than me on, I like them. I don't like them. And then, beloved broadcaster, beloved. The man that said big men don't go to style. Big man don't go to style. See, all I run for a long time. He's moving on from HJ, moving on from Jumpstart. We can talk a little bit about that too. Folks, good to have each and every one of you on the live. Good to have you on the live this evening. Please and thank you. How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? So today we learned there was a secret swearing in of sorts. Hear them boys making sure y'all can't injunct them, you know. You can't bring no injunction. Historic today. Which had the flashing lights. This history made. Is the first commissioner of police. I think they said he's the 13th or is he the 12th commissioner of police. Somewhere there about. But the first to be appointed after the age of retirement. But you know all that's going to be tested in court. You know all that it's going to be tested in a court of law, folks. All of it is going to be tested. Office of the President was the background today. Good folks, Shipnarayan Chandra Paul Drive. Looks at what went down there as the commissioner was sworn. It's substantive. The acting commissioner of police, Clifton Hicken, was sworn in as the substantive commissioner. And then you had a number of other deputy commissioners were sworn in as well. Yep, it's a lot, folks. It's a lot. Here's where we start. COP, he's a cop. Commissioner of Police. Never mind, got an asterisk next to that word, commissioner. Good to have all you on the live joining us. Take a look. Shipnarayan Chandra Paul Drive.
I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge, discharge all the duties of my office faithfully, according to the law.
So, Mr. Clifton Hicken, as acting commissioner, you have demonstrated continuous strong leadership. I have known you for a very long time. Your career evolved among varied challenges faced by the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Deputy Commissioner Budram, you have worked on various operations, and you have shown that you have the ability to assist the Commissioner of Police in the execution of his duties and to lead with distinction. You are also the holder of a degree in law, and you sacrificed completing your law program in Trinidad, giving your son the first opportunity. Deputy Commissioner Blanham, you're a scholar in every regard. You have distinguished yourself on results and performance, highly motivated, and I look forward to your continued drive and your commitment in resolving crime and bringing justice and giving justice in every circumstances. Deputy Commissioner Watts, I've had the opportunity to engage you for a lot of my life. You've worked in different divisions and different sections of the Guyana Police Force. Stringent and rigid is used to describe you. I know that as a member of the team, You have the capacity and capability. And with the commitment, you will bring great value to the leadership of the Ghana Police Force. Karen Baksh, now posted as the head of SOCO. You two would have worked in different environments, different divisions. You two would have had different experiences. And as a member of the leadership of the Guyana Police Force, I'm convinced that you will support the Commissioner and bring and add value to the Guyana Police Force in a very important and serious arm of law enforcement and the security architecture. As the economy grows, as the economy expands, this is an area that would have tremendous focus. Deputy Commissioner McBean, though not here, has also distinguished himself as a commander. I also had the opportunity to see him work in different divisions, see him work under different circumstances. And he has exhibited a level of professionalism that is befitting the uniform he represents. Therefore, I must congratulate all of you, but none of you can demonstrate the strength of leadership without the foundation of goodness that comes from your family.
Yep, strength to the family. That's where it's at. Strength to the family. The men confirmed in their substantive roles as assistant commissioners of police, deputy commissioners of police, and then, of course, the top cop, commissioner of police, even though got an asterisk next to it, Clifton Hicken. History remains today, folks. Very first commissioner of police to be appointed past the age of retirement, even though the law says it shouldn't happen. Leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton, responded immediately, promptly to what was happening over at Shipton Rhine Transport Drive. Take a look, folks. Take a listen.
I think it is unlawful. In the first place, when the president wrote me, I indicated to him that the entire leadership of the police force, or most of the people in the leadership of the Ghana police force, should be under investigation. And I urged him to investigate the corruption in the police force. That he would have proceeded to appoint Hicken is indicative of the fact that they're complicit in the corruption. Because here are people, there are serious allegations of corruption against them, and you're confirming them. What you're doing, therefore, is to say to the Guyanese people, look, I'm comfortable with corruption in the Guyana police force. Also, the police force at this point of time is manifestly incompetent. It's some in the leadership. And to appoint him and then to go on as if they are competent is also an indication that the government needs incompetent people. They need people who are compromised, which they can therefore hold over them to achieve their objective. We've long said that the police force was being politicized. And this is again a manifestation of the politicization of the Ghana police force. We believe it's an unlawful appointment because Hicken has passed the age of 55. And if a teacher in this country arrives at the age 55 and she is a deputy head, she cannot be confirmed as a head. And therefore it follows logically that Hicken could not be confirmed. But the government has to pay back Hicken for some of the things he did for them. And so it's more compensation. And I gained the impression that what they're trying to do is to give Hicken his benefits as commissioner, because it is well known that they want a new commission and it's not Hicken. So I think it is part of the PPP planning and plotting to place who they want as commissioner of police. But like I've said from the inception, Hicken was neither certified nor qualified to be commissioner. And therefore I found it well, not strange, abnormal that they would have appointed him commissioner. And I've spoken to the lawyers this morning, and clearly we're going to take legal action on this one. Because for one, I don't consider myself to have been consulted, and the law said I should be consulted. When he wrote me, I made it very clear that, look, what is needed is an investigation, not the appointment of people who are of questionable character. So to me, the president is again involved in another unlawful act. But it is the nature of the PPP, lawlessness. I would think by early in the new week, I don't think they can be finished by tomorrow, but I think early in the new week, there should be legal action against the government on this issue. But so we don't have to account. He now comes and says, at least as reported, that there's transparency and accountability. If on the one hand you don't have to account, then how on the other hand you have accountability? This government, like I've said, is lawless. And the way they give out projects is a clear indication that they have no interest in transparency and accountability. There is supposed to be an investment committee in which the projects that are going to be invested in should go through that committee. And that committee should be looking for ways and means to invest Guyana's money so that it earns income. But they have decided that that investment committee wouldn't function. The government sees the Natural Resource Fund as a slush fund that they can take money and do anything with. The People's Progressive Party is such a corrupt political party that is normal to them. And if you look at what is happening with the cash grant, you're seeing their incompetence. Because they are into corruption, they don't want to use the established system. Now, this could have been a simple process in which you pay those who are in the government service through the government service. And then in a very structured way, you have the information at your disposal for the entire voting population they claim. So they could have gotten the information from the others within the registration process. And then in a structured way, pay them through the banks via check. But that wouldn't allow for the level of corruption they're interested in. So apart from their incompetence, their inability to organize anything of consequence, they have to do things like this so that when they finish the corrupt practices, there's no mechanism to trace it. I'm also hearing that they might have to print money because one of the problems they have is that they went into this without a proper plan and didn't check to see what levels of money they have circulated. So all of those will contribute, but it boils down to the fact that the PPP is an incompetent, corrupt political party. Well, the lawyers believe that, one, the fact that he's over the age of 55 means that he's not eligible to be confirmed. He could have continued acting, that's not a question. But once you confirm him, you're in violation of the law. And the second thing I would say is that there's a violation to the extent that he didn't consult. But that's the nature of the people you're dealing with. But we're going to take the matter to court and see where it goes.
So you heard it there, folks. Welcome back. Legal action is pending. Historic, the first commissioner of police in 13 that has been appointed past the age of retirement. Is it a brown bag? A lot of benefits come to the commissioner of police post-retirement. Pre-retirement as well. You notice the fellas go and collect stuff and so on. You got a boy there, a wedding. He help you out. He could help you plan. Commissioner. Well, he getting what is coming to him. And you apparently, folks at home and abroad, you all are getting what's coming to you all as well. Ingrid, good to see you on the live this evening. And Bella and John, Sharon, Vesta, Hazel, Jamal, Andrew, good to see you there. Asha, good to see all of you on the broadcast. Robin and Jolly, Sabbath Rizal, we see you as well. Edward Brooms, how are you doing? Paul Bourne is on the live. Folks, season's greetings to each and every one of you. Naomi Drucker is here too. And Beth and all the other folks joining us. I see Edward and Kim and Sudhari, Brenda and Deborah. Folks are ringing the bell one time for all of you beautiful folks out there tonight. And no sooner is this happening, folks. This is the office of the president, Ministry of the Presidency, Chef the Ryan Chandra Paul Drive. Today, you had some other things happening as well, good folks. Folks, the Matson this evening for us. We got some other things happening as well too. Yep. It's never an easy day with the GPF. Never an easy day at all. But as I said, folks, we're watching it. We are watching it. Congrats. Congrats. You know, these things got to work themselves out one way or the next. Congrats. And while the Commissioner of Police was being substantiated in that office, in that substantive position, from acting, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Calvin Brutus, he was spotted near the Guyana-Lethem border. Never dull moment. I don't know it. He said, Chief, while you topside, I can make a dash for it. I don't know. Chief, while you topside, we're gonna make a dash for it. I don't know if you guys haven't heard this yet. But today, folks, wasn't yesterday. Today they're telling us Assistant Commissioner of Police, is that still his ranking? Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus. He was stopped at the border as he was trying to get across. I'm telling you what is being reported here. He was trying to get across the border. He was spotted in a vehicle with a foreign number plate and was promptly turned around and told, you can't leave. Promptly told that he could not leave the jurisdiction. What's happening here, folks? What are we missing? You can't leave the jurisdiction. You mean you couldn't take a yellow car, a green car, a red car? He said they ain't gonna stop a red car. Some folks refer to him as a deputy. With all these appointments today, he's thrown out. So currently under administrative leave and under court order barring him from leaving Guyana, they said he was intercepted by law enforcement. Or rather, this is, let me be accurate. This wasn't today. They said it was the 16th. Is that they got the 9 upside down? Or I got it wrong. And this was near to the Takatu Bridge in Region 9. This is a very big bridge. But he was trying to cross over to the Brazilian side. Getting it right now. Now I have the notes. He was trying to cross over to the Brazilian side. Folks, I know some of you all far brighter than I am. What do y'all think happening here? Michael Reed, Coral, Cheryl, Charles, Diane, Gloria, Asquith, Deborah. What do y'all think is? What's the real truth about what's transpiring here? What's the real truth? You got me side, you side, and then they got the side we didn't hear about yet. And I'm certain you guys have got another version to that. Me side, you side, and the side we didn't hear about yet. What is the Assistant Commissioner side? Is that still his designation? Or is he a private now, Savitri? Marlin? What's his rank now with these elevations we've had? Folks, this is the Guyana Police Force that Clifton Hicken has presided over. You had the Calvin Brutus scandal, the Dion Bascom scandal. You name it. We went through the Police Complaints Authority report on this very broadcast and the damning things that the chairman of the commission got in that report. The hierarchy don't know law, don't know regulations. Flouting the law, flouting the constitution. And to hear Irfan articulate all the prowess. Oh, they're bright for so. They're bright like that. Bright. Where is Mr. Brutus going? Where is Mr. Brutus heading? This is the vehicle, they tell us. Diane, where is he going? Did he tell you, Diane? Wilma said the case dismissed. The case dismissed. Let me go. Where is he heading? Auntie Sandra said he's a civilian now. He's a civilian now. You know the bulk of this country. The bulk of us live in Region 4. Region 4 is the most populous region. I don't think the people has ever won Region 4. They won parts of it, but never outright. They're trying to do that. They move legislation now that split up Region 4. East Bank got its own returning officer. East Coast, Georgetown. They're trying a number of mechanisms to get the filthy, greasy paws on Region 4. It's not going to happen, though. Not in our lifetimes. It's not going to happen. You not going to cash grant yet? I see some of my brothers and sisters in the hinterland. The folks at DPI tell them how to hold the money. Hold like a fan. Spread it out. You've got to always suffer to such indignity. Suffer us like that. Spread it out nice, man, like a fan. You 100,000. You know, it's even worse, quite frankly, for brothers and sisters in the hinterland. Because things are that much more expensive. That much more expensive. Gloria Felix, when in the city you paying, what, $350, $400 for a loaf of bread? In the hinterland, depends on where you are, could easily be $1,400. So the inflation, the cost of living, is even higher in the hinterland. So the little that 100,000 can do on the coast, it can do far less in the hinterland. Far less. When I was at Krasabai a couple months ago, the folks told me, we got to wait to get our pension every 3 months, every 6 months. It's not feasible to go to let them for the pension. So unless the folks don't come in to us, we got to bear with chief. To go out for the pension is 14,000 return. You understand what I'm telling you? 14,000 return. How much is the pension? How much is the pension? I ain't quite there yet. How much is the pension? Huh? How much? 7 tomatoes, Sadie telling us, for 700. So 100,000 on the coast is a different 100,000. In Latam, you know how much you get from Georgetown to Latam? $85,000. And that's just the airfare return. You got to stay somewhere. You got to eat. So that 100,000 is one flight out. Hazel Chase, Vesta. Janet says the pension is 36,000. 36,000 seafarers. They said they're giving public servants for us the cash grant, and they're going to give our brothers and sisters in the hinterland region. Irfan had said on October 10th, instantaneously 200,000. And then Jack Joe overruled him. He said, no, it's going to be 100,000 for Guyanese individual. Whenever. Today, interestingly, he had another component added to it. You know, every day I get a piece of the puzzle. It's an enigma wrapped in a mystery. Every day you get a piece of the puzzle. Today you heard about verification. Georgetown, they're coming. Region 4, they're coming. They say, in a matter of days, from the horse's mouth. And I'm using horse here as a simile. It's a metaphor. You know that jargon, right? Lisa say, oh, you're being animalistic now. From the horse's mouth, it come in. Because I listen carefully. Because I know my friends in Region 4, y'all wonder what? We just registering. But you're getting the call. And I know some people, they're looking in the December salary to see if it's coming there. But no. Your time of scramblation, it is nigh. You better put on your running boots. Shine up your cane. You may gotta lash some people up. Get from here. Saw some scenes in the hinterland today. Is it mad here? People pushing. Get from here. You don't bail for 2-3 days and you end up in the line. See them scatter. People pushing. This is because things tight. A lot of people know that 100,000 is seen January morning. Things tight. The fella said, come in. Vice President said, come in. Take a look.
So that brings us to Region 4. So far, over 221,000 persons have been registered in Region 4, and about 156,000 have been verified, and they've started printing checks for those who have been verified. So let me give you an explanation. Is once they register, they still have to go and check the database to see there is no duplication, etc. So that is what they mean by verifying people. And so once they're verified, the checks are printed. They're public servants, over 50,000 public servants and members of the discipline services were registered. The checks were printed, and soon these will be distributed by the agencies. This should hopefully commence over the next few days and hopefully be completed before the end of the year. This does not represent all of the people in the public sector payroll, because you have about 69,000 persons on the public sector payroll. So only about 50,000 of the 69,000 have been registered thus far. And they have about 44,000 pensioners who have been registered. 27,000 checks were printed, and the remainder are currently being verified and processed. And the ministry is currently engaging the NIS and Ministry of Human Services to have these distributed. This is the report from the Ministry of Finance that I received just earlier today, given the many queries that we have received about how the exercise is going. As I explained, soon we're going to be starting the process of registration in the remaining five regions. So hopefully the money could be appropriated in the budgetary process early next year, and then those regions would receive, and people in those regions would receive.
You heard it there. It's coming. Since October 10th, it's coming. It's coming. Auntie Sandra, it's coming. Cousin Errol, Cousin Beth, it's coming. Marcus Skinner, Nima Fluid coming. We'd expect it in the pay, in the retro, but it's not there. I in Tiger Pond by your end there. How much a loaf of bread? And how much a bottle of gas? Tiger Pond is Carassa by his side. How much for a loaf of bread and a bottle of gas by your end? It's coming. Instantaneously. Everyone said on October 10th. Instantaneously. 200,000 per household. This is December 19th. It moved from the 10th to November month 10. It's December 19th now. It's still coming. It's still coming. Coming down. WPA. Working People's Alliance. They say workers can be paid better in this country. And they're right. You see, if you pay workers well, you got a kind of dignity about you. You're not going to push down door for 100,000. But let us be fair. Guyanese everywhere. Let us be fair. You know a lot of Guyanese don't know when again they seen 100,000 in one place. You don't know when again. Single people working to live and crying out. Imagine a man like me. You got 3 kids. You got a wife. People could afford side chick now. In this economy. You could afford side chick. When last you see 100,000 in one place? The Working People's Alliances, we can pay people better in this country. I don't want to hear how far that we have moved on the rungs of being biggest GDP, high income, fastest growing. This thing growing so fast, it's growing without you. It is growing without you. So this 8%, 10% this year, 8% next year, WPN says it is insufficient. That's what they're saying. It is insufficient. And it says that the government, despite its financial capability, is being stingy. Insufficient. How we sung there? Huh? Let us know how we sung there. That's why I make the point. 100,000 on the coast. It's different. It could hardly work on the coast. Imagine our hinterland brothers and sisters. I'm checking for Indy's comment if he responded. Deborah Pearson says 4,000 for 3 eggs. You got 96 left. And you go down the line and see how you're faring. You can't afford side chick. Side chick looking for things. Like the woman at the market told us. You gotta get one for light bill. You gotta get one for rent. You gotta get one for transportation. 100,000? What name, sir? Deborah Pearson says a pound of cow heel is 800. See that thing out? Is egg pepper pot this Christmas? Is egg pepper pot this Christmas? IND says it's $500 in Tiger Pond for a loaf of bread, $8,000 for bottle cooking gas. You crying with a little 200 extra, you're paying 48, 8,000 in Tiger Pond, 500 for bread in Tiger Pond. The WPA say we can pay people better. You know who making this money in this country here? You know who getting the hug and the wash? Huh? You know who getting it? You know who checking how much bread is and how much gas? Ministers. Airfund salary increased by $290, I think I heard, per month. That's not one off. Airfund retro carrying it to 6 point something million. He carry home in December. Then he add 100,000 too. The 100 for he and 100 for First Lady. See, it was 6.2. How much you carry home? Look at me busting my brains, oh lad. You know your customer a couple years ago to a rambunctious pepper pot. Now you got to say, all right, left for the cow heel. Right? Left for you just make a dark broth. You boil some eggs and you just rest it. You know who making the money? Ministers and unscrupulous contractors. Unscrupulous contract. Making the money. You hog. And if they're working for it, if they were showing the works. So I was taken aback. I was taken aback and taken to the back when I heard some things the Vice President of Guyana said today, General Secretary, the People's Progressive Party, because he waded into this issue of the fallen poles. You know that the poles in the PP fallen? Jack your pole fallen. Kwame pole fall. So he was talking about fallen poles. A subject is very versed on. And I saw someone said on social media when we were given the information. I agree with him on these people. I said nonsense. He is chief cook and bottle wash. The contractor's making the most money. You got to pick you up in your spirit when you hear me talking nonsense. When your spirit clean, you pick up things. Now we can't afford a little oil to sanctify yourself. See, we headed into this South Granville issue today. Here manufactured rage. Here nonsense. Take a listen.
We are connecting and expanding the Arby Barker Road, and we want the community to benefit from all these changes. So then all of these electricity poles collapsed and left South Rumfeld and the other surrounding areas in darkness. Now, this could happen, but we were very concerned about as an accident. Accidents do happen. But I started digging into this a bit more, and this was not an ordinary accident. What that discomforted this community in such a major way. So we looked at what happened, and Public Works and GPL have to give credible explanations, because I'm going to be on their case until we get to the bottom of this. Because for one, these poles that were moved there From the wooden poles to the concrete poles now, they were moved out of the pathway of the road to expand the road. So I'm told now that they were not put there, they were not laid according to specifications. They were not put down according to specifications. So Public Works need to say who designed this, who was responsible for what was the contractor paid for, whether it is a design fault or the contractor did not comply with the design, and who supervised this, which engineer supervised this and allowed this to happen. And it's time that we start terminating people who are not doing their work, who've been paid by the government to oversee work that should have been done properly. Because just imagine if that didn't happen there, we would have never known that these poles were not placed according to specs, because someone, either the contractor didn't do their work properly, and if the contractor didn't do the work properly, they had to do this with the complicity of the person who's supervising the work. And there should be consequences. People have to be blacklisted and fired for this sort of thing. Or it's not going to change, because we can't see this as politicians all the time. You pay people to do work properly and to supervise the work, the staff. And someone needs to give credible answers. So either Public Works or GPL on what took place. And then why would you allow the road contractor to dig out the entire stretch of drain that would discomfort people getting into their yards? Why couldn't they just do it by 2 blocks at a time and then build the concrete drains? This is all ridiculous. So it happens routinely. I see it everywhere. We have a bunch of engineers who just go down, walk around the road, and they discomfort people all the time when they could work differently. And so it's something that bothers me personally, and I'm going to watch this, because I think we're reaching a stage now where people have to face consequences, including staff of the government who are responsible for designing things or supervising things, because they're getting a good salary now. In the past, it wasn't like the engineers in the state sector earning a small sum of money. Now, some of them are earning huge salaries, and they don't pay enough regard to these issues. And we now need to hold people responsible.
Yeah. You heard it there. In my ear, fun voice. Don't bluff me. Don't bluff me. Hide around too long. Don't bluff me. You know, I often marvel at my parents, my mother in particular. When you're young, you think you got so much of brains. But your parents saw you coming 10 miles out. So don't come around me funny. Of course, you should say differently. Don't come around me funny, Jack Dio. We hearing this refrain too much. We gotta get serious now. Earphone stood up in the 5:30. A man said he bidding for 3 company. He was say, what? You's a bad man. You know against the thing? You know against the procurement rules and so you're a bad man. Nothing becomes of it. Nothing becomes of it. Jack, you told us in his own deliberate judgment. He said, you know, they got a man in Region 8. He is the engineer for the region, and he been for contractor. He told us that nothing ever become of it. A whole string of poles fall along in south. He said, no, we gotta get serious. When them poles fall along, and he trying to tell us he ain't get a report yet from Public Works. He trying to tell us he ain't get a report yet from GPL. Huh? Oh, GPL got to tell us. Somebody. Huh? Bishop ain't gone home yet. Keshna and Lal ain't gone home yet. We got to start holding somebody. He signed up for the last 4 years. We got to start holding some of these people responsible. But nobody's ever held responsible. Guyanese, at home and abroad, we have a learning, but we never come into the knowledge of the truth. He said 2 things there. He stumbled on 2 truths. 2. Might I elucidate? 2 truths he stumbled on. He says only when you get accident, there's no pole and walking. It's only when you get accident, there's no pole and strong. I find there's a truism there. It's only when you know pole and strong. A lot of poles think they're strong until they get a little shaking. And then there's no Lagano to style. It's only when you get a little shaking, then you know if you could stand up or not. It's only then. Second point. Second point. He says some of these people, it's just they walk around and see how they can make people, put people in discomfort. He just described the whole PPP. He said the devil God turn through the earth. You all know this Bible study you all run into tonight. The devil God turn through the earth, seeking whom he may devour. Turn through. He said some of them people, they just walking around looking how they could discomfort people. Case in point. 2 things we learned there. So only when the pole got a little rocking, then you know if it's strong. Some of them people, the whole PP just described it, Shamar, Idris, Daniel, Prince, Lester, Beatrice, Ayindi. When the pole get a rocking, maybe found strong. Maybe some of them people turn through. They're going, just looking how they could discomfort you. Case in point. Yesterday, a very important piece of legislation came before the National Assembly to be amended. This is the acquisition of land for public purposes amendment bill. Them boys run into a problem in Peters Hall. They wanted some land. Lots of you would say, hear me out, because it's got implications for each and every one of you. Whether you're overseas and you got property in Guyana, it has implications for you. Whether you're in Guyana, you got a piece of property here, it has implications for you. Because you see, you got some people, they only walk in to and fro, seeing how they could discomfort you. Better hope. Success, rather. Cane View Mucker. Amelia's Ward, Hillfoot. Just walk in to see how they could discomfort you. But some of you would say, but them people, they're squatting. They don't have title. They're squatting. They don't have transport. They're squatting. Like we know every song in the repertoire. But the people at Peters Hall had transport. Them boys want when they come and they say, pack your bags and go. You must don't get your bags packed, ready to go. The court told them, when the Peters Hall people took them to court, before you start talking about compulsory acquisition, you gotta pay the people and pay them properly. Them boys don't want to hear that. They dictate what happens. They run things don't run them. So them boys bring a piece of legislation yesterday to overrule the court. To overrule the court. And I did say, brothers and sisters, it has implications for you. Because it was at the end of the debate last evening that we learned the real motive behind what they're doing. It was disguised, shrouded, concealed. But as the Lord would have it, as the Lord would have it, the Spirit was moving. And my brother and that belch up. This is why we're doing what we're doing.
Importantly, we have, Mr. Speaker, to end blackout. To end blackout, we have to, within the next year, acquire over 200 pieces of private properties across this country. To complete the road works scheduled for the next year, we have to acquire a lot of we have to acquire a lot of pieces of property. And the truth is that the people of Guyana are anxious for development. Anxious for development. And they will choose. Do we want blackout to end? Do we want blackout to end? Or we want blackout to continue while one or two persons detain a process over adequacy of compensation?
Yeah. So it's a case now, right? It's a case now where you could get lights, but you're on the road with your bags, watching your neighbors' lights through their window. Because you want to hold back blackouts, so people come put you out your house. Just like that. You heard that? You heard that? Vest is your house they're coming after. Mark is your property. Abidas, Affairs is the hotel they're coming after. Asquith, Tommy, Linden, is it your property them boys coming after? Take a listen again.
Importantly, we have, Mr. Speaker, to end blackout. To end blackout, we have to, within the next year, acquire over 200 pieces of private properties across this country. To complete the road works scheduled for the next year, we have to acquire a lot of we have to acquire a lot of pieces of property. And the truth is that the people of Guyana are anxious for development. Anxious for development. And they will choose. Do we want blackout to end? Do we want blackout to end? Or we want blackout to continue while one or two persons detain a process over adequacy of compensation? Importantly, we have, Mr. Speaker.
Apologies there. So people are excited to be put out of their homes. People are excited to have their possessions taken from them. Yeah. I can see them backflipping with excitement. It was our shadow Attorney General, Royce Dilford, who put things into context based on some of what the court said recently. Folks, based on some of what the court says recently. You see this thing called compulsory acquisition. It's a part of the law. It serves a useful purpose. But this installed regime, they are bastardizing the thing. The court says you must have adequate compensation for your property. They won't come and pay you next to nothing. Snatch away your dignity and treat you anyhow. Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, Shadow Attorney General, Royce Ilford, and this whole issue of adequate compensation, what the court said quite recently in an allied matter. Take a look, take a listen as we close.
Judicial authorities have declared, Mr. Speaker, that for the purposes of compulsory acquisition, it is not when simply the state is able to obtain a vesting order that the land is acquired, but the land is acquired upon the payment of full and adequate compensation. So inherently, Mr. Speaker, in the first four words in the first sentence lies an inherent conundrum and conflict which cannot be resolved, because when the land is acquired means that when the land is being taken and vested and full compensation paid, but nevertheless it proceeds to lay out a remarkable though incoherent legislative system, a regime, which makes it impossible for the advance payment to be legitimately made in the context of the Constitution and the legislation that exists. So, Mr. Speaker, we are in a peculiar circumstances. Mr. Speaker, the full court approved in this same judgment, and of course, this was a case argued by Dr. Todd, Mr. Smart, and led by myself against representatives of the Attorney General. The court dealt with specifically, Mr. Speaker, the concept and the underpinning principles in relation to this advance payment. Because as I pointed out earlier, Mr. Speaker, all the applications before the court sought to have a provision that the court makes an order that the monies be lodged pending proceedings. And you were told, Mr. Speaker, that yesterday in the court that a number of persons surrendered their properties. Mr. Speaker, I need to bring some clarity to that. Of the 5 or 6 cases that were heard yesterday, most of the persons agreed to accept by consent a payment paid to them, and because it is not completed, the court will proceed to hear the proceedings. That is a completely different situation, Mr. Speaker, where the parties consent to a particular situation. What we're having here, Mr. Speaker, is a legislative enforced position where the state is, by legislation, seeking to create the circumstances where the citizens must surrender their right to property as declared by the court and as set out and enshrined in the Constitution for 80%. When at the same time, 80% does not constitute full and adequate compensation as determined by the court.
Thank you very much, Shadow Attorney General, Minister of Legal Affairs, Royce Dale Ford, shadows that sector there. And thank you for joining us this evening. There's where we're going to leave it. We're going to continue to interrogate this issue. They used their majority in the National Assembly yesterday to pass this dastardly bill into law. We will continue to fight and persevere. That's our time this evening, folks. And that's our program. Thanks for joining us. And that's the last bell. See you guys on the next broadcast. Stay safe. Thanks for joining us, folks. Chris, we see you there. Beth, Asha, Marlon Thomas, we see you. Anderson Cortez, thanks for singing the overtime, folks. Marcy, Deborah, Wanda, Winella, we see you there. Auntie Sandra, good evening to you, folks. Have a wonderful night's rest. And, folks, stay vigilant. Watch for them boys. Please and thank you. See you guys.